Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Possessed Pixie and today is Friday, so that means it's a Folklore Friday video today, and I wanted to spice things up a little bit. If you've seen my first video, I mentioned that I originally wanted to do my makeup while sharing to you the folklore of the Fae, but I messed up on the recording and lost half of that footage, so then I just ended up doing a talk while I sat there and looked pretty. So today I want to try to do that again, and actually I'm looking at myself because I don't want my camera to turn off from while recording. So I need to look at you, not at me. But then also I'm over here so I can do my makeup. Anyway, and also I wanted to kind of switch up the folklore of how we're doing it. And I've been doing it where I go through like one thing in depth, talk about the origins, the creature, where today I kind of just want to share with you 3 short folk tales, a little compilation video. Does that sound good? I think it does. So thanks for bearing with me, and I think we should just jump right in, don't you? The first folk tale is of the Roe Beast. The Roe Beast comes from French folklore, and it is described to be a hideous winged dragon with a super long scaly tail. The Roe Beast is also said to be extremely intelligent, having a similar intelligence to a human. All of France was terrified of the Roe Beast, but specifically the coastline, as it resided in a cavern at Pointe de Rue and would trap and kill humans to eat them. The Roe Beast did this trapping and devouring up until the very day it was caught. I'm gonna do my eyeliner real quick and then I'll be back. On a day when the tide was particularly high, 7 pagan heroes rode in by boat to enter the cavern. These pagans had come to judge the Roe and find peace and serve justice. In a panic, the Roe Beast attempted to flee to Pont de la Pierre. However, the 7 pagans each shot a single arrow, all hitting the Roe Beast. 2 of the arrows hit the Roe directly in each eye, another 2 directly in each ear, and then another 2 in each nostril, and then the final arrow went through the Roe Beast's mouth and pinned it shut. The beast did not die, and it was captured and put into a deep pit as its forever prison. This pit prison is guarded by the same 7 pagan heroes who captured the Roe Beast. To this day, it is said that the Roe Beast still lies at the bottom of its pit prison, and it screams and it wails. Part of the folktale states that when the Roe Beast wails to the north, the northern coastline is affected by great waves and storms, and when it wails to the south, the same for the south. Some of the older French folk say that it is a blessing that the Roe doesn't wail to the west, as the island would be completely destroyed. The next folk tale is of the Man-Eating Boulder. The Man-Eating Boulder comes from Southeast Asian or Indian folklore. The tale goes that once there was a widow with 2 sons who worked in the fields of the Khasi Hills of Meghalaya. This widow, while she was working one day, gave her sons bananas to eat and allowed them to go play in the fields on their own. While the two boys were playing, they were climbing on rocks and just having fun when the younger brother realized his foot became stuck. The older brother tried to help free his younger brother's stuck foot, but soon realized that his brother was sinking into the boulder. Panicked, the boy shouted for his mother, saying, "Come quickly, my brother's foot has been swallowed by a boulder." And their mother did not believe him, figured they were just playing around and being kids, so she continued to work. When her work was finished, she decided to check on her sons to then find, to her surprise, that her eldest son had not been lying. Both of her sons were missing, but the only clue she had was the oldest brother's hand was sticking out of the rock, still holding his banana. In a true panic, the mother ran down to the village to seek help from the men to try and help free her sons. Men arrived with hammers and chisels to try and free her boys, but they noticed that every time they hit the boulder, it would grow in size. At a certain point, the men decided they would no longer be able to try and free the boys, as the boulder had grown far too big that they feared they would be swallowed as well. So they ended up abandoning the boys, leaving them to their fate. The final folk tale is of the Siéhnam. The Siéhnam was a deer that terrorized the Siéhnam of Argentina. The deer would attack villages every night after midnight. It would stab villagers with antlers that were sharper than knives and would use its large, long fangs to bite the throats of people who were found to be sleeping on their backs. Night after night, the Siéhnam would kill about 4 people, but only 4 people. Having grown tired of the losses they were experiencing, the Chorote decided to seek out the shaman. I put a little too much glitter on. It's okay. Nothing wrong with a little glitter. I told you we needed more glitter. Just before midnight one night, the shaman woke up and heard the Siéhnam coming. Running out, the shaman shouted, "Now I've caught you. I thought it may have been somebody else, but it was you. You and I will fight." And so they fought. The shaman was able to throw the Siéhnam down, telling it not to come back to the village. And the Siéhnam didn't come back. The next day, the shaman brought the good news to the people, saying, "Now we can all sleep peacefully. I believe the one bothering us will not return again." That's the last of the stories. I'm gonna go ahead and do my lips, and then I'll come back for a little outro. Okay, and that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the addition of me doing my makeup and also this kind of alternative folklore video of doing 3 short folk tales. And again, that was the tales of the roe beast, the man-eating boulder, and the Siéhnam. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate your company. I look forward to seeing you next week. Sorry I didn't post a video last week. I was celebrating one of my middle school best friend's bachelorette, and in a few months I'll be celebrating her wedding, which is really exciting. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you next week with a new video. I'm thinking it's gonna be on unicorns, which is exciting. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll see you all later. Bye.